First thing is I observed is you were getting like the interviews people wanted. You got Meta, you got Apple, you got Amazon, probably got a few others as well. Which interviews did you get? How did you get these interviews? Because that was a question I had. Like, how are you getting interviews? Because people are kind of struggling, especially, at the new grad level where there's a lot of competition. So what's your secret sauce? I hope hopefully you can tell us now because you have a job. So what's
Yeah, for sure. So I
Hi, Jacob. Welcome to the podcast. I have lost track of the episodes, so I don't want to say which one. It's probably our seventh, eighth, ninth. I'm not sure. I have quite a lot on the pipeline as well. I haven't published, so but I know you have an interesting story, so I think a lot of members of the audience want to hear. So the good news is you have a FANG offer. Amazon, I believe, SDE1.
yes.
Good, good, good. But it wasn't a easy journey, at least mentally. I've kind of been with you for most of it, at least as far as I'm aware. So I know you have some interesting emotional roller coasters you've kind of faced, but pulled through just in
Definitely.
time. So first thing is I observed is you were getting like the interviews people wanted. You got Meta, you got Apple, you got Amazon. Probably got a few others as well. Which interviews did you get? How did you get these interviews? Because that was a question I had. Like, how are you getting interviews? Because people are kind of struggling, especially, at the new grad level where there's a lot of competition. So what's your secret sauce? I hope hopefully you can tell us now because you have a job. So what's
Yeah, for sure. So I in total I think applied to 700 applications, but
700?
yeah. Um so I just use like Simplify to basically just like spam these applications at first, but I kind of changed like my strategy as like I went on throughout the season. Like I got DoorDash through that was like the first like face-to-face like interview I had. And this was just through the cold like applying. And then I got Datadog through a referral. And then after that was Meta. And Meta, interestingly enough, like I applied for a bunch of positions at Meta and I like emailed like a lot of recruiters. And then one of them actually forwarded my profile to the production engineering recruitment team. And that's how I got the Meta process. And
When you say
then,
you emailed the recruiter, I mean, obviously you must have obtained an email somehow. Or you saying LinkedIn? What do you mean?
so yeah, I use like LinkedIn and then there's this Chrome extension. I forgot what it's called, but it basically gets like the internal emails from LinkedIn. So I just basically filtered by like university recruiter and then just emailed a bunch of them basically sending my resume, like my qualifications. And then out of like 50 of them, like one of them responded and forwarded my profile to yeah, the production engineer recruiter for university. So
Wow, that's a lot of grit. Well done.
yeah.
Okay, okay. So quite a lot of interviews, very interesting. And how do they go generally?
So for DoorDash, I thought it went pretty well. But I realized like my overall like kind of how I optimized my studying wasn't the most efficient. The approach I took definitely was not like a very like structured approach in terms of like actually like interviewing. It was just like they basically is OA and then you go to like straight to like the on-site. Um, so that was okay. That was like, and then Datadog I had after that. And it was just OA to like recruiter screening. And then it was kind of like the same thing. I had like issues with the approach. Like I was able to reach like the optimal solution, but I kind of had too much help from the interviewer. So that's why I didn't pass. And then I finally got Meta and I found your platform on Reddit because there's really nothing out there. And for production engineering, it was a great resource. And um, yeah, I would have had the complete like wrong approach because Meta's kind of informational packet to help you study definitely would have led me like they focus more on like the troubleshooting and um, so I found like the structured approach of like learning like operating system, like networks, system design, like everything. I wasn't really gonna study that. I was just gonna primarily study troubleshooting, so that definitely helped a lot.
Okay, so the next question I was going to ask you, how did you prepare? So you found conditioning on Reddit. You'd had some interviews before that didn't go so well, but why did you decide like, because one of the things you do is first you got advice, right? And then you
Mhm.
did mock interviews and so on. But like, why did you feel you needed advice? Is it just because you've those interviews just didn't go well, or was it something you
Yeah,
saw on Reddit, or what was it? I'm curious actually.
I mean, I really for production engineering, I thought that it was just good to like invest in something, especially like a process that I'm not familiar with, to like basically just like streamline um yeah, just to basically like streamline like my how I was gonna prepare and like everything. I was more like familiar, just only really familiar with like studying for like data structures and algorithms and leak code types problems. I didn't really see the gap myself. And I was really wondering honestly why I wasn't really like passing or and I guess like I had like a blind spot, and a lot of these recruiters when you ask like for feedback, they don't like just because of company policy they don't really give you that feedback. So it's just kind of like an endless cycle of like okay, like I'm I'm doing the same like preparation, trying to like figure out like what I'm doing wrong, but it's really hard to know what you're doing wrong if they won't tell you. So I just wanted like the kind of third person
Okay,
objective point of view.
okay. So with so you had the meta production engineering loop, you had the screening round, you got to the final stage. How did you feel it went for the on-site? So the screening round is like the P basics, P coding. So we did mock interviews for that. I think you also used our course as well, something, but I remember you got through that, then you got to the on-site, and the on-site was like what behavioral systems, and then there's this PESW coding, right? How did you feel it went in your opinion? Like your subjective take, right? Because they probably didn't give you feedback.
I mean, I was pretty confident that I was gonna get the offer, especially kind of like consulting with you about like how other people did um and like what they how they answered questions and like what they got and all that. I thought I was pretty confident that I was gonna get it. Um, the systems round went well. I was able to answer all the questions. For and I would get follow-up questions for like operating systems. The only thing really gap that I or like potential issue I saw was maybe with like the troubleshooting. My answer wasn't the best, but I thought the systems round went pretty well. And then
Motion to exit the front door.
the behavioral round went I think like perfectly like in my opinion, but and this sweet coding I studied like the top 50 for meta and was able to answer them with no help from the interviewer. So yeah, I was really surprised when I didn't get it. Um,
Yeah,
but I definitely felt that like conditioning helped like optimize like how I studied and everything.
you you got some interesting feedback from them. I mean, not feedback on your performance, but it was something like you could apply again. Like you didn't have to wait for the cool off period or something weird like that. What was it? Do you remember?
Oh yeah. They said yeah, like the feedback from all the from the panel was like overwhelmingly positive. Um, and we like encourage you like to apply to like some of like the other positions or like the network production engineering position. I forgot exactly what they
Yeah,
said, but
it
it
sounded
was
like yeah, it sounded like maybe they they were out of space or slots or something for that cohort or something, but maybe they didn't want to say it because it's really strange. Normally they'll tell you you have this cool off period, but they were like encouraging you to like apply again like straight away, like without having to wait. If
yeah. And what makes me think it was kind of it could have been headcount possibly was that they were already I wanted to postpone the on-site just by like a week and they weren't even sure if they were gonna have headcount.
ah,
I
interesting.
yeah. And I thought it was just for like the New York office because I really wanted to be in New York, but it was for all the offices. So for production engineering university grad. But um yeah, I'm not really sure. That's kind of why I suspect it could have been headcount, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So that was really close. We think you got in, but it seems like there was a headcount issue. But then Amazon out of the blue. What was that about? Tell us about that
Oh
story.
yeah. So I took the Amazon away like back, I think in like February. Um Didn't hear anything for like months. I took it in February. I guess I heard back about like the survey maybe like late April, I think. Yeah, like one like the like a week before I had graduation. So yeah, it definitely came out of the blue. I had a few processes like in between um Meta and Amazon though. And like there's like a lot of overlapping processes. Like I had Apple in between Meta, and then after that I had TikTok. And then right the day after that I took the Amazon on-site. So
So
um
we helped you with Amazon. I remember because we had to squeeze you in. It was like a weekend. They
yeah.
came in like 3 days before. I'm like, hey, I have Amazon. Can you guys help? And I was just like, I had plans for this weekend, but luckily I had other coaches as well that were able to help. So I know we had like 3 sessions, mock interview strategy and all that, and we kind of compressed everything, even your behavioral answers as well, just having them reviewed, the low level design crash course, all these things, and miraculously you got the offer because
No,
I
I
just thought it was
know.
so compressed that this is so tight, right? Obviously, we did our best and just said, let's see how it goes, right? But
Yeah. This was probably the like the loop where I put like the least amount of work and studying into and I got the offer, so it's kind of funny how it works out,
with all
but
the experience, you've had obviously, especially in interviewing skills, would obviously still be there. So, that doesn't get lost. But yeah, I know what you mean. And how do you feel? How do you feel about the Amazon, the Amazon interview experience, the offer? I don't know if you know what team you're joining, or at least what department or whatever, or at a high level, what you'll be doing. Whatever you're happy to share, it'll be good to good to know.
yeah, so I thought the process was honestly amazing. I loved all the interviewers, had really good conversations with them. Um because yeah, like it was the first round was data structures and algorithms. It was just like two lead code mediums. Everything was very straight up. They really wanted you to win. And then the second round, I think it's called like the bar raiser round, I guess. It was pure LPs, but again, really nice interviewer. Um, yeah, like great conversation. And then the last round was half low level design, half leadership principles. Um, so I thought everything was very like standardized. And then in terms of my preparation, I feel like for data structures and algorithms, um, since like I've already like prepared for that for like a lot of like for the previous loops, that's just kind of primed me to be ready. I don't think there's like I think it was like maybe like a yeah like a neat code like 150 like problem. And then for the behavioral really had to like I needed like that's something that I've definitely in like a lot of the other processes before starting with you that I really undermined and like the significance of it and like hearing my stories because yeah again like it sounds good to me but just kind of getting like more of like a structured like stories and like with actual metrics and something like more compelling like it was really amazing that helped me out and I was able to like prepare like curate for exactly like Amazon like leadership principles and then like how I should like switch out like the stories and have like very like versatile yeah stories so I can switch it out for the different leadership principles and like specifically for like new grad which leadership principles they prioritize so that helped me like a lot of my preparation and for low level design I wasn't really too familiar with low level design. I've never like done any interviews for that before so that was the one I was the least confident on so that was definitely, I was considering like postponing that onsite just because of like the low level design. But I just studied like grokking the low level design like OOP interview and I did like a few practice problems and um I was able to I guess sufficiently I don't know how I did on that specific interview because they don't give you feedback on the specific interviews, but I guess sufficiently answer that well and then I'll be joining Prime Video in LA, which I'm really excited about. I've heard great things about the Prime Video organ, so um, yeah,
Congrats,
super
congrats.
excited.
Yeah, the thing you said about behavioral, I know most people I meet just treat that that's usually their last priority and they just wing it. But the thing is, if you don't pass behavioral round, then you probably won't get like an offer. It's really important, especially for senior hires, but even if you're a new grad and so on, it's very important. Definitely for Amazon, they care about it. So what I find is the standard of the stories people come with just isn't like good enough, and it's not like selling them as because the interview beyond the candidate answering the questions and like using some story to demonstrate a competency, the context of the story you use is an opportunity for you to like demonstrate the kind of experience you have, whether it's software engineering, production engineering, like kind of things you've done. And usually in that context of the story, the kind of things you do is kind of can already tell the interviewer that, oh, this person's probably going to be someone that can come in and learn quickly, hit the ground running, and so on. And a lot of people fail to use that to kind of sell themselves. So sometimes they might just maybe talk about uni project and so on. I'm not saying those things are bad, but you also want to have the interviewer see that, oh, this is a real software engineer, or at least they've done things that
Yeah.
software engineers do, so they can see you in the role, right? And yeah, that's definitely something. And obviously, like rehearsing these things and selling yourself
Mhm.
well. So anyone that's like not investing enough time in behavioral is um letting themselves down to an extent. So I just encourage people to do that. So congrats, Prime Video. Sounds interesting to me. I do hope you um enjoy your time at Amazon, and I'm glad you got an offer. You worked really hard, you deserved it. I'm glad our courses, mock interviews were helpful. I know you use other platforms as well. So, the combination helped you get through. You made it. And now you don't have to worry about interviews for a while, which is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, any last words? Like if you were to like, looking back, is there anything you'd change? Or is there anything you did that you'd, maybe based on intuition, that you just tell people like, hey, if I could go back in time, I probably will do X, Y, Z differently. Anything like that?
Um, I mean,
It could be
yeah,
from
just
studying or maybe something you did in an interview or maybe scheduling. Like, did you, things like that.
yeah, I think that just like really like the formats of like learning is something that's like really vital and like how you learn. So I mean, one thing that I kind of like that like I can apply to like just like not just interviews, but just everything is kind of yeah, just like there's like a method for like like for example like operating systems when I was preparing for that for production engineering like I was having like trouble creating like connections between like certain things especially when just kind of reviewing in like a short time instead of just like watching a ton of videos using like a mind map to create those connections and then like using space repetition to like lock information in that I was forgetting because if you do like the blind 75 or neat code 150 and you just forget all those problems you're just wasting time and there would be problems where I would kind of like vaguely remember seeing, and I wasn't really able to come up with like a solution as quickly, or really come up with a solution at all, even though I've seen it before. So it's just very important to like be more conscious about like what you're reviewing instead of like just like blindly studying, like see what results you're getting, and sometimes it helps to just get like a third person's like objective point of view because if you keep on doing the same thing over and over again, it doesn't work. Like there's obviously an issue, and if you can't figure it out, then it's definitely good to like consult with someone else.
Fair point. So the thing you mentioned on the space repetition and like how you learn, that's literally the key differentiator on conditioning. Like we are like a learning company and we're trying to like optimize learning for how the human brain works. So using like insights from neuroscience. So we know how the brain works. There's this forgetting curve. Your brain likes deleting things. If you engage with something or read about it or whatever, don't touch it for a couple of days, weeks, your brain's gonna delete it, right? So if you're just grinding knee code or leak code or whatever, and you're not you know, doing active recall, doing space repetition, it's gonna fade away, and you're like wasting a lot of time. So one thing we stress, and I'm happy you like picked that up, and that came from you. So hopefully you're gonna apply the
Yeah.
rest of your career. Is learn efficiently, learn so that you retain, and you can actually build on the knowledge that you've retained. And also, with the repetitions, your recall speed improves, which is useful in certain contexts. If something you need to be able to recall very quickly or just for like another interview or something. So I'm really happy with your story. Very like I was very invested in your success. Felt like I was part of the journey
Yeah.
because we had quite a few sessions. I know at least six, if not seven or more. So got to know you really well. I'm really happy for you. Best of luck. Best of luck, Jacob.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.